Hi guys, this is Michelle from Bead and Wire. I wanted to pop on and talk to you guys a little bit about how I make my memory wire bracelets, how fun and easy they are. So let's go ahead and get started. So just to talk a little bit about the memory wire, if you buy the memory wire in bulk, it comes like this. It looks like a slinky, and then you just cut off as much as you need for each project. If you buy the memory wire at the craft store, you can pick it up like this. There's some that are flat memory wire, and this is a round memory wire. And I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. Memory wire is a very hard temper wire, and it's easy to go back into the shape that it originally was. You can make chokers, bracelets, necklaces, and even rings out of the memory wire. So if you're going to make a bracelet, you want to go ahead and pick up memory wire that indicates bracelet, and this one says large bracelet. The tools that you're going to need for this project, obviously you're going to need some cutters, and really not just any cutters. These are strictly for memory wire. These are the mini set, and I picked these up pretty inexpensively, but I strictly use these for my memory wire, and I don't use your regular cutters unless you only use them for memory wire. If you accidentally use your regular cutters, your good cutters, they're gonna dull and they could chip. It's not a good idea. So trust me, you want to get the memory wire cutters. We're also going to use round nose pliers just to make loops on the end. You can use your regular round nose pliers. They also make these round nose finishing pliers for memory wire. If you want, you can pick these up pretty inexpensively as well. As you can see, they're a little short and stubby, only because the wire is such a hard wire, and these make it easier to make your loops. You don't have to have these, you'll just have to give it a little bit more oomph when you're using your regular round nose pliers. So let's go ahead and get started. So when I make my bracelets, I usually like to do at least three wraps. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull off enough of the wire for 3 wraps, and this is all tangled, of course. Let's start over here. Okay, so you find your end of your wire, and then you count over your 3 loops. And the best way that I do judge the cutting is I kind of overlap my end. So say this is your end, and then you want to go ahead and make your 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. So I would cut this loop about a little bit, about an inch from your end. So I hope you guys can see that. So I would cut that about right there. So I already have one that's already cut, and I have already looped it, and I do have more than 3 wraps here, but sometimes I can do that and then I just cut off the ends when I'm all finished with my design. Now the ends of your memory wire, you can do a loop like I did here using your round nose pliers, and these loops you can do them inward or outward, and that depends on what you want to use on your end. If you want to hang like a little charm on the end, kind of like what I did here, you can go ahead and roll your loop towards the outside. That way it will allow you to hang your charm on here pretty easily. So if you know what charm you want already before you start beading, you can certainly add that before you close up your loop. So we'll go ahead and just leave that on here, and then you want to make sure that your loop is tightly closed, just like so. If you do not want to use the loops on the ends of your bracelet, then they also sell the memory wire bead ends. And these ends look like beads, and you can attach those to the end, and just like so. And then you can use your glue. You can use your Hypo Cement or your E6000 and just run a little bit of glue inside and attach that onto the end, and that way you can have that as your end piece instead of having a loop and a charm. Now you can do your loops inward, and that means just towards the bracelet, towards the inside of the bracelet, and that way it'll give it also a finished look if you don't want to add any charms or anything. So basically the hardest part is getting your design. So for time's sake, I went ahead and started to add my beads onto my memory wire, and I'm using these multicolored agate beads. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then I'm using a couple of these little bronze daisy spacers in between. So I have a little bit of a pattern going. I have 3 beads, multicolored, and then I'm adding the daisy spacers. I am using the bead stopper just because I don't want to lose my whole rack of beads. If you guys don't have the bead stopper, like I've said before, you can use these binder clips that you can buy at any office supply store. And these work just fine, just like a bead stopper would. So it's up to you. So let's go ahead and finish out this one. I'm just going to add a couple more beads. It looks like I'm close to the end. And I wanted to show you how simple it is to add your loop on the end and then also adding a charm. So it looks like I only can get 2 beads on there until I'm at my end. So I hope you guys can see that. And I'm going to go ahead and do my loop. I'm going to use the small end of my looping pliers, and I'm going to loop that towards the outside. So this takes a little bit of strength. So just go ahead and loop that out. The wire is very hard and stiff, so don't be alarmed. It's not like your 20 gauge wire that you use for other projects. This is a lot stiffer and it's a lot harder wire. Okay, so there's my loop. I'm going to just go in and kind of give this a little bit more of a defined loop. It's not perfect, but of course I'm on camera and that's why it's not so perfect. So there is my wire wrapped bracelet. I have several charms here. I just don't know what I'm going to use for this one. Let's go ahead and try this faith charm. And you just add that like you would any other charm. Let's find the better end. I probably should have added that before I closed it up all the way. It is still open a little, so we can add that. And what's great about this wire wrap is it retains its shape. So if you pull it apart and you put it on, you might think, oh gosh, this thing is too small. But no, it will stretch out and it will conform to your wrist. And you don't have to worry about it being too big or too small. So my wrists are pretty small, so when I started wearing these memory wire bracelets, I was so happy because I finally found a bracelet that fit me. So I've just added these two little charms on here, and I'm just going to close up my wire loop to make sure those are on there nice and snug. There we go. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I do have one on here that I made a while ago. Let's go ahead and add this one. These are so cute and so easy and so quick. Like I said, the hardest part is for you to figure out which design you want on your memory wire bracelet. So I kind of probably put that on a little bit to the side, but that's okay. So here's my first memory wire bracelet on camera for you guys. And you can add any type of charms or dangles that you like on your wire bracelets. I do have another one that's almost finished. I wanted to go ahead and finish this one up on camera as well. So it's pretty much the same thing. Use my bead stop. So what I did on this one, I tried to do each coil a different style. So my first coil, you can see, has a little silvers and some purple and lavender and some spacers, some silver daisy spacers. The second coil is very similar, but it has some larger, maybe not bicone, but larger beads and some little small purple rounds. So I just added those, and then I kind of went back to the same design for the last coil. So if you kind of make these kind of an exclusive set, then they kind of match and they go all together. And obviously my coil is way too long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. You guys can see how easy these cutters work on this memory wire. Just make sure that you have all your beads nice and tight, and you want to clip that and give yourself enough to make your loop. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my round nose pliers and make my loop again. Make this to the outside because I am going to attach a little dangle to this. You've got to really put your muscle into it to get this thing to roll around your pliers, believe me. But that's a good thing. These are not flimsy whatsoever. Okay, so that's pretty good. And of course I did not put my charm on before I closed that up. So I will go ahead and open it just a little. Let's move this out of the way. I have a jump ring here, and I have a bunch of little dangles. So I think I'm going to add, let's go ahead and add this charm. This one is the dragonfly. I think it's really, really cute. So I'm going to take my pliers and open the jump ring. And I'll attach it to the end here and attach my charm. And close the jump ring. Make sure you do not pull these apart, the jump rings. You need to go twist them in the opposite direction. Otherwise, you will lose the integrity of the metal and it will break your jump ring. Let's make sure our loop is closed. And don't forget, we have another loop on the other end that we can fill up with something. So I think the something would be probably just one of these little dangles here. These aren't too much. And keep in mind, you can use any type of beads you want. You can use as many rounds as you want. You don't have to stick with the three or four. You can do 8, 10, whatever your heart desires. And it's all about you. It's your creativity, it's your imagination, and it's your project. So you do what you feel is right and what you like. And we'll just attach this last one on here, nice and tight. There. So how cute is that? That is pretty easy. Hope you guys can see all this. Let me go ahead and try it on. Let me take these off. And like I said, my wrist is so small and these fit me and I get so excited. And I love the stacking look. It's so fun. Look at that. That is awesome. So cute. And like I said, if you don't want the little dangles or the charms on here, you don't need to put them there. You can turn your loops towards the inside and they will look just fine. I love this one. This one's so pretty. And then compared to these two, we did a great job tonight, ladies. Thank you for watching, and like I said, I am a newbie, so please be kind and help me out. Please subscribe, and please watch my videos, and have a blessed day. Thank you.